Hey everybody, welcome back to Vedic Sage. I'm Dr. Dhaliwal, and today we're going to talk about the general characteristics of Sagittarius individuals. From an Ayurvedic perspective, all matter is made up of 5 basic elements of ether, air, fire, water, and earth. We can see here that the 5 basic elements condense down into doshas, which are basically the organization of qualities. For example, ether and air form the Vata dosha, fire and water form the Pitta dosha, and water and earth form Kapha dosha. If we take a look at the first house, we can see here that Jupiter is the ascendant lord for Sagittarius individuals. And Ayurveda looks upon Jupiter as being a Kapha planet. The first house generally represents the physical self, one's personality, and vitality. Sagittarius is depicted as the bow, which signifies the ability to aim high and therefore have the ability to prevail over enemies. It's interesting to note that no planet looks to Jupiter as an enemy, although Jupiter is enemies to Venus and Mercury. This can be explained further if we take a look at Venus, who owns both the 6th house of enemies and the 11th house of friends. As mentioned, Venus happens to be enemies with the ascendant lord Jupiter, and therefore it's not uncommon for Sagittarius friends to become enemies and their enemies to become friends. To explain this further, we can take a look at the 2nd house of speech, which is ruled by Saturn, making Sagittarius individuals quite blunt. Likewise, we can see here that the ascendant lord Jupiter happens to be debilitated in the sign of Capricorn, which happens to be the 2nd house of speech. In regards to career, Sagittarius individuals often find themselves drawn to intellectual careers since Mercury owns both the 7th house of partnerships and the 10th house of career. It's also interesting to note that Mercury is a dual planet, which sometimes can make for a dual career, meaning being a professional by day and being quite something different by night. If we take a look at the 9th house, we can see that the Sun, which represents the soul, owns the 9th house of spirituality. This gives the Sagittarius individuals a strong interest in spirituality, especially because the ascendant lord Jupiter and the Sun happen to be mutual friends. If we take a look at the 8th house, which often represents obstacles or chronic medical conditions, we can see that Jupiter is exalted in the sign of Cancer, which happens to be the 8th house. Overall, this gives a sense of luckiness to the Sagittarius individuals, along with the sense of happiness, as Jupiter helps to protect against losses and helps to provide good luck. Okay guys, this was simply just a brief video on the general characteristics of Sagittarius individuals. If you have any questions, feel free to put them down below in the comment section, or you can visit us at VedicSage.com. Until we meet next time, be well.